I already know I'm gonna cry. Okay. Let's do it. Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've never watched a video of mine. This video is going to be about my illness and like things that led up to it, and just all the things that like I get like so many questions about it, and I just need to talk about it. At this point, like, I went through so much and I'm still going through so much, and I just want people to know. Even though I post pictures on like Instagram and stuff, that like it's not all pretty. It's hard, but that's gonna be this video. I'm gonna film like my ACC, because that's what it's called. Let's just get started. I'm like all over the place. Okay, so I want to say end of 2018 was my doctor, my primary. He was monitoring my blood pressure because it would get really high, and then during like January to like May-ish, I would get really bad headaches, and he thought it was just like because when your blood pressure is high, then you get headaches. So it's like that's why you have headaches, because you have high blood pressure. But I'm 19. I should not have like these problems. So it was kind of hard to like go and see him as often as I should have been, because I was supposed to go see him like at least 2 months or something like that, but I just couldn't because I was just busy like with school, and then like working on myself and taking my like niece to school, my brothers to school, and I was so busy, I had no time. So I just didn't really prioritize it, even though I really should have. And then it was like the weekend before my birthday. My birthday is July 27th, and the weekend before, we had like a family gathering here at my house for my birthday and my grandma's birthday, because they're like around the same time. And I was like limping because like my back hurt, and I didn't know why. I thought I just like had slept wrong or like something, I don't know. My lower back was hurting, so I was limping. But that party, like, I was fine. Like they actually like picked me up and threw me into the pool, and you know, it was fun. But the next weekend, my actual like birthday weekend, I was going out of state because my boyfriend, he's in the Navy, and at the time he was in Chicago, so he like surprised me for my birthday with like plane tickets to Chicago to like see him, and then like, you know what I mean. So me and his mom and I like flew to Chicago on a Friday like night. I left my house like at 5 or like 6 or something, because our flight left at like 10, and it was kind of a long drive, so we left like early. And like we got on the flight. Sorry, I got cut off right there, but what I was saying We got on the flight. I'm sorry, just like okay. We got on that flight and we landed in Chicago and went to my boyfriend's base, picked him up, went back to the hotel because we were all so tired, and we just like took a nap, honestly. And then we woke up and we all got dressed and we like went to the mall, walked around, we went to a concert. It was just like a normal day, and then at night that same day, like my birthday, my actual birthday, that night when we got back to the hotel from the concert, I noticed that my feet were swollen and like my ankles, and I was kind of just questioning whether or not they were swollen like when we got off the plane, or if it was like from the concert, or for like I didn't know. So I was like sending pictures to my mom, and she was like, okay, like just take care of yourself, like when you get back, well, like if you're still swollen, then we'll take you to the doctor. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I slept through the night, and then the next day, same thing, like we got up, we got dressed, we went to like Navy Pier, I want to say, and I don't know, I looked in the mirror and like this was like before I was gonna take a shower. I looked in the mirror, and like everyone knows what their body looks like and what it's been looking like, and my body did not look like how it was. And I was kind of just like, this is kind of weird, like I shouldn't, like it was just weird to me. So it kind of concerned me, because not only was like my body changing, but my ankles were swollen, and by this point like I was like in so much back pain, like it was so bad. Sunday night, it was the July 28th, we were at Walmart because I forget why, but we went to Walmart, and I was literally like on the verge of tears, telling my boyfriend like, can we please hurry up, because like walking around is like hurting me, and like I'm in pain. I need to go like sit down and lay down and relax because it's hurting. And we like just like left just like as soon as we could. And then next day was Monday, and that's the day that I was gonna come home. Our flight got delayed like a million times, but we were at the airport, and I was wearing Vans, like slip-on Vans, and they were not fitting me. Like my feet were so swollen to the point where like I couldn't fit into my shoes. And luckily I had taken my Crocs, which were like a little bit big on me, or like there still are, but they're a little big on me. So I changed my shoes, like I changed from my Vans into my Crocs, and my Crocs like barely fit my feet. And then I flew home. I got home super late, and my mom took one look at me like head to toe and was like, there's definitely something wrong, definitely calling your primary. Like, and then that night I remember July 29th, I believe. Yeah, I remember that night it was so hard to fall asleep because I was just in so much pain, and I didn't know what to do because every position I was in was just in pain. And I was like, okay, just like tomorrow I'm going to the doctor and they're gonna figure out what it is and everything's gonna be better. Like, I'm not gonna be in pain anymore. But it's definitely not what happened. So the next day came, the 30th, and my mom called my like primary care office or whatever it's called, and she asked if there were any like available, or if they were doing walk-ins, because we were just gonna like go. And my mom was telling the receptionist like all of my symptoms and stuff like that, and she was just like, there's really like nothing we could do for you guys here, just go to urgent care. So there we go to urgent care, and same thing, they told us there's something wrong with you, like, but we don't have the right equipment to like figure out what it is. So they basically, we had to go to the hospital. So we got to the hospital at, I literally remember these times because it was such a hard moment. Like, it was so hard going through this. But we got to the hospital around like 3:30, and then they evaluated me, and they were like, why, like, I showed them like my feet are swollen, my neck is swollen, like everything is just swollen, and they were like, what the heck, like that's weird. So they ran like every test you can think of. They drew blood, they did x-rays, they did ultrasounds like on my legs to see if I had like any blood clots. They did an EKG, they did an echo, they did everything like you could think of, and then they didn't find anything. But in my blood, my white blood cell count was elevated, meaning I was fighting off an illness. And so they were like, we were running all these tests on her, and there's like nothing coming up. So they ran a CT because I had pain like in my leg and like my back. So they did a CT, and that's when like that's when the doctor told me that I had a tumor on my adrenal gland. And that's all we knew at that point. And I was so scared, because being 19 and being told that you have like a really rare form of cancer is like, it's hard. Like, I didn't tell anyone for like a week. I didn't talk to anyone for like 2 weeks, and it was so hard. And when she told me, like, the doctor, she was like, in my like, I think she said like 20 or 30 years of being like an ER doctor or whatever, she had never seen that type of cancer before. And I was like, you're welcome for being here first. But she was like, because the hospital here is not equipped for like chemo and stuff like that. So they were calling around to see like other hospitals that I could be transferred to, and a lot of them were like, we don't have the right doctors, or we don't have like the right equipment, or we don't have a bed, or just, it was just like it was really hard for them to find me a hospital to get transferred to. But they finally did. And I remember, I'm telling you, like, I remember the exact times of everything. I remember the doctor coming in and she said, or I think it was one of like the nurses, but they said, at 4:45, paramedics are gonna come and pick you up and like take you to the hospital that we're transferring you to. And my mom was like, okay. My mom had been up like all night and she was just like tired and she got no sleep. So we were gonna be driving in the dark. I didn't want her to get into an accident. She didn't want to get into an accident. Like nothing, like we didn't want anything bad to happen. So she went home and she like packed a bag for herself, and I think she took like a nap or something. And then before I left, I had told her like, just please make it back before 4:45. And she did, literally like 2 minutes before. And then literally on the dot 4:45, and the paramedics were at my door and they were like, okay, like, are you ready to go? And I was like, yeah. And they didn't know like why. I don't think they knew why at first, because they were like really nice to me. And then they were like, do you need to use the restroom because it's gonna be a long drive? And I was like, yeah, I should probably go to the bathroom. So I went, and then I came out of the restroom and they were just like, their mood just changed like really badly. I think like my mom or the nurse or someone had told them why I was being transferred, and they just like didn't expect it. So they were just as like in shock as I was, like. But so I got transferred to the other hospital. I remember it was just like literally it was all a blur from then on, because I was just so scared. I remember the paramedic, he was talking to me, and I just like in that moment I did not want to talk to anyone, so I pretended to fall asleep, and I like actually did fall asleep. And then when I woke up, all I remember is them like taking me out of the hospital, like taking me out of the ambulance and like into the hospital. And the whole time I was just like, where's my mom? I need my mom, like I want my mom. And they were like, yeah, she's like, when she gets here, like she'll ask for you and she'll come, like don't worry. And I was so scared. Like, I'm 19 years old. Like a few months prior, I was like going to the gym, I was in college, I was like, you know, this and that. And then all of a sudden, like, I have a super, like, an extremely rare cancer with no cure, with like, it was just really hard for me, obviously. So I was in the hospital that time for, I want to say like 8 days. I was in the hospital because again they ran all the same tests. Like they ran EKG, they did ultrasounds, like they did blood work, they did everything. Like, I don't remember if it was the first hospital stay or the second, but at one of them, I had my port put in. You can't see it because I'm wearing like this shirt, but it's like this. I had my port put in, and then I had to get an IUD because I was gonna be put on blood thinners, and they didn't want me to like bleed out, I guess, when I would get my menstrual cycle. So I had to get an IUD inserted, which was kind of awkward, kind of weird. Don't want to go through that. But they ran like an MRI. I was waiting actually to get an MRI ran on me, and it took a really long time. And if you guys don't know, like for scans and stuff, you can't eat or drink for like 6 to 8 hours before the scan. So I want to say it was like 3 days. 3 days I did not eat anything because I was waiting for this like scan, and it just like kept getting delayed because there was like other patients that needed it more, and I was just like, I'm hungry. I'm like starving. I'm literally starving. I hadn't eaten in like 4 days at this point because I don't even think I ate much the day we went to the hospital. So I was literally starving. I was so hungry. And my mom asked one of the nurses, like, is there any way that like she can get something to eat because she's hungry, and like this isn't okay. And the nurse like called down to like radiology, and they were like, oh yeah, we won't have the machine ready for her in a while. So the nurse was like, yeah, go ahead, like go get her some food and whatever. And so my mom went to the cafeteria and she didn't know what I wanted. She just like went and got stuff, and I was in the ICU, and normally like in the ICU they don't let visitors eat with the patients, but like the nurse that I had like did let my mom stay there and eat with me. And my mom has been like a blessing throughout this whole thing, and I could not, like, a million times over, I can't thank her because I really don't know what I would have done if like I had to do this by myself. But they ran an MRI, and that's when they found like again like the tumor. The tumor on my adrenal gland, and not only was it on my adrenal gland, it was extending into the IVC, which is like one of the biggest veins in your body. So my body wasn't getting the circulation that it needed. And there was also tumors on my liver, and then like later on we found a lesion like on my arm, and then some on my lower spine. So I was just a big mess. And in that hospital, it's like a teaching hospital. If you guys have ever watched Grey's Anatomy, and like there's interns and then they do rounds and stuff like that, And then there's always that one intern that like checks in early, you know, like I literally, that's what I was going through. Like it was, whenever my doctor would come every morning, like they'd have like 4 or 5 interns or residents or whatever learning, like medical students. And because I was at a teaching hospital, and I was just like, whatever, it's like whatever. But like I came home and literally nothing was ever the same, because I was put on so many medication. Like I had to do heparin shots, I think that's what they're called. I got cut off again, I don't know where I left off, but I think they gave me Lovenox shots, which is like blood thinners, and I couldn't even do it myself. Like my mom had to do it for me. So I get shots like twice a day on my stomach. And sometimes they leave really bad bruises. Right now. And then I would get really really bad acne. During my first cycle of chemo, my feet, like my whole body, just got so swollen because of the fluids that they were giving me. And I literally gained, I think it was like 15 to 20 pounds of just fluid, and all of that fluid went right to my feet. And I have like pictures of when my feet were really swollen, which I'll insert right now. And then I have pictures like now when I'm not as compromised as I was before, but I still have like, I have stretch marks on my feet from being so swollen. I have stretch marks like on my side. I have like a scar because I got a biopsy done to like confirm what it was. And I have stuff everywhere. Like I have like right here is where they take blood, and then I have like scars all up and down my arm, on my hands, and just everywhere. I was just poked and prodded like a guinea pig. And it was just the worst time in my life ever. Like, when you think of, when someone says cancer, they think like, oh, a 2-hour infusion at the clinic. But no, my cancer was really what's it called, what's the word, my cancer was really aggressive. And for each treatment I had to be hospitalized for like 6 to 7 days, and then I would get like 2.5 weeks at home, and then I had to go back, and then I did 4, and I was good. Like, well, I wasn't good, I was throwing up and I was like sick and stuff. But after my 4th chemo cycle, which was back in December, I want to say, after my 4th chemo cycle. I got extremely sick. Like, I was in the hospital here, like, in my hometown for 8 days. And I literally thought I was gonna die because the first 3 days, like, I was just throwing up everything. Like, everything. I had nothing in my stomach, but I was throwing up still. Like, I was throwing up blood. So they put me on TPI, which is like IV nutrition, if you guys like don't know that. And I was put on TPI, and then eventually I started like coming around. And because the first few days, like, I was sleeping the whole time, and I would only get up to go like to the restroom, and even to go to the restroom I had to have someone like walk me there and like be there for me just in case I had fallen over, because I had like a big old like thing of like a machine. It was just hard. I really thought that I was gonna die because I didn't eat for 3 days. Like, I wasn't talking, I was sleeping, I was like in probably like the worst state that I could ever be. And then finally, like, they got it under control and I was able to go home, but my body was just really damaged. And at this point I had only done 4 chemo cycles, and my doctor wanted to do at least 6. And after this he was like, I don't know if like we want to continue, because if it's gonna do more harm than good, then what's the point, you know? So we waited a little bit, waited till I felt better, waited till like my labs came back better, my echo, which is like to check my heart, waited for that to get better, and then I was like, okay, like, let's do 5 and 6 cycle. And we did it, and I'm done now with my intravenous chemo, because I'm still on chemotherapy, just not like through my veins. Like, I take oral chemo every day, like 2,000 milligrams of chemotherapy a day, and that's a lot. But I was on so many medications. Let me see. I'm on all of these medications, not including like my shots and my, like, I have medication right here, and I have so much medication that I have to take like daily, and it's just so hard. And then I just want to thank everyone that like supported me and was there for me, because there were so many times that I was in the hospital. I got like, I want to say I got like 6 or 7 blood transfusions. I got like 3 platelet transfusions. I was in the hospital like at least once a week, and it was just bad. Like, I have a home nurse that draws blood once a week to like check my labs and see if I'm good, if I'm stable, and stuff like that. And you know, like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I've been like holding steady, and my labs are looking good, but I do have a scan coming up, a PET scan, and I'm really nervous because I just don't like, I'm afraid of the unknown, you know? Like, I have to have the scan, like I have to wait to get the scan, and then wait for my doctor to review the scan, and then wait for like the appointment to see my doctor. And it's just, the unknown is so scary to me, and I just wanted to make this video because not only was I getting like a lot of questions about it, I was like, I want to bring awareness to it because ACC is extremely rare. It's, oh, I didn't even, like, ACC is short for adrenocortical carcinoma, and look, you can look it up, it's extremely rare. But I wanted to raise awareness because the symptoms that I had were like literally everyday symptoms, like, you know, like fatigue and headaches and anxiety and depression and, you know, stuff like that, like irregular periods, like, you know, everyone gets that. And I really didn't think anything of it. But like, if you feel like something is wrong, go to the doctor, like go to get checked out. Like, it's better to be safe than sorry. And I wish I had done that, because maybe if I had, then maybe like it would have been caught sooner and it wasn't so far along, and you know, it would have been a different situation. But right now I'm holding steady. I'm still taking like 100 pills a day. I still get blood work done on Monday, and then Tuesday and Friday I have physical therapy, and Thursday I have a nurse that comes and checks on me, and then Wednesday I have a nurse that comes and checks on me, and then Thursday I have my therapist, and Friday, you know, I have physical therapy. And so it's just been really hard for me and my family, and, you know, like the people surrounding me, because it's not only like me and my family, it's like, because I have a boyfriend, it's him and his family, and the fact that he can't be here while I'm going through this. And I know he gets like so worried, and most of the times I prioritize like him over myself, because I don't like seeing the people that I love in pain, you know? Like, I don't want them to be hurting, I don't want them to be sad. So a lot of the times I'm worried about him more than I am about me. But I just wanted to say, like, that's my story. I'm gonna have to take these medications for the rest of my life, and hopefully my hair comes back. It's like growing a little bit, people say, but I don't really know. I'll believe it when I can braid it. But just thank you, honestly. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for like listening to my like annoying rants. Thank you for just everything. I have probably the best support system around me, and that's more than I can ask for. So Thank you. See you in my next video.